Hi, Katzcradul here. It's the end of the growing season, and perhaps you don't get out to your garden quite as frequently as you did when it was at its height of production. And sometimes one of those little zucchini that was little a couple of days ago becomes a giant zucchini today. And you wonder what to do with it because they're not so great just to slice and steam and eat because they're just a little bit tougher and the seeds are just a little bit bigger. And so you end up with these big zucchini that sometimes you're not exactly sure what to do with, especially if you're new to growing them. I didn't actually grow these. I went to a library board meeting. I'm on the board of my town library. And as we were about to adjourn the meeting, somebody said, "Oh, wait, I almost forgot there's a huge bag of zucchini over there. Everybody has to take some home." So I was obliged to take these too and was happy to get them. And today I've decided, well, with a portion of one of them, because they're so big, to make zucchini bread. And I'm going to show you how to do that. This is a very straightforward, simple zucchini bread recipe that even the novice baker will have success with. It only requires 2 bowls, and let's get started. In the large measuring bowl here, I have the cooking oil. Don't worry about the measurements of the ingredients right now because I'll post the recipe below in the Show More section under the video. In this large liquid measuring cup, I have my oil, and the brown stuff you see in there is the vanilla. And now I'm just whisking in 3 eggs, and this is going to get nice and thick and well incorporated. The reason I'm doing this is I want to beat the eggs in with the other liquid because I don't want to have to over stir once I pour the liquid into the dry ingredients. You can use any kind of oil you want. I'm using an old vegetable oil I have here, some I'm trying to get rid of. Normally I would just melt some coconut oil and use that, but I need to get rid of this oil. In the large enamelware bowl, I have flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, baking soda, and cinnamon. I'm going to put just a little bit of flour on top of these pecans, and I'll show you why in just a minute, and then I'm going to stir the rest of this together. It takes a little bit of doing. I would have used a deeper bowl here, but I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing, so I selected this wide one. And so now all I'm trying to do is just to get all of the dry ingredients blended together, because I don't want to be doing that after I add the liquid because I don't want to develop the gluten. I want this loaf to stay very tender. And if you over mix the flour, you have a tendency to overdevelop the gluten. I don't want to do that. The other thing I know is that this batter is very thick and it takes quite a bit of working. And so I want to do as much work with the flour right now as I can in this bowl before I add the liquid to it. The cinnamon in here is a little bit of a blessing because it's a good indicator of when you have it mixed. If you come across a clump of dark brown, that's the cinnamon, and you know that you haven't quite got it mixed well enough. I think we're pretty good to go here, so I'm going to go ahead and add all the liquid. Again, that's the oil, the vanilla, and the egg that's been beaten up. Just scrape all that out there because believe me, you'll see in just a minute why you need all that liquid. And here, I'm going to toss those pecans with that little bit of flour I put in there, because if you coat things like raisins or pecans or anything big like that that you're adding in, it will cause them to stay mixed in the batter rather than sinking to the bottom. The flour just works as a little glue and helps hold those in place. Now here's the 2 cups of zucchini I grated. I washed my zucchini and then grated it with just a little handheld grater. I didn't get out any fancy equipment to make this recipe. I really like to show you how to do things this way because if we're ever having to cook in a grid down situation, you'll know how to do it. And I just like doing it. I like doing things by hand when I can. And this recipe is really one where you want to do that. You don't want to use an electric mixer with this. It takes a little bit of working here. And when you first add all the ingredients together in your bowl, you're going to think, this can't possibly be right. Kat's got it wrong. There is not enough liquid in here. And you will second guess it for about the first 2 or 3 minutes that you're stirring this together. Yes, it doesn't appear to have enough liquid, but what's going to happen is the zucchini is going to begin to cook and release its juices once it's in the pan, and that will provide all the liquid you need for this recipe. So at first glance, it appears that there's just not enough liquid, but you keep working that flour in, and I'm not really stirring or beating here. All I'm doing is turning this batter over and over, looking for dry spots of flour, and then you will see me with the back of my spatula just pressing that flour down in to try to get it damp, just like I'm doing right now. Just pressing it down. I'm not really stirring or beating. I'm turning it over, looking for more dry spots, pressing it out to get it all moist. See, there's a dry spot at the back. Press it down. And I've just about got it here. It smells so delicious with the cinnamon. And the eggplant, that's a thought. May try to make some eggplant bread. The zucchini looks so beautiful. Taking a little rest here. It gets a little tiring because the dough is so stiff, but I've just about got it all mixed in here. The zucchini just looks so beautiful in there. This is going to make 2 beautiful loaves. I love anything that makes 2 loaves because we can eat one and put one in the freezer for later. Lots of times when I make 2 loaves, we eat one and we give one away. Either way, that works great. Here are 2 loaf pans that I have buttered and lightly floured. And I'm just going to divide the dough, putting one big blob in one pan and then in the next until I get it all divided. It's very stiff, but the batter did take in all the flour. So you just have to work at it a little bit. You'll see in that right pan, it's kind of self-leveling. See the dough spreading out there? So you definitely have enough moisture in there. Of course, in that zucchini is going to release all its beautiful juices and just make the nicest, moistest loaf. So just use your spatula and spread the batter out into the corners, leveling it as best you can. Don't have to worry too much about this. It doesn't need to be a tedious chore here. Just kind of get it into the corners, spreading it out. There we go. All right, looks pretty good. Get the last little bit off the spatula. Super. Okay, that's how it looks. Then they go into a 350-degree oven. Just kind of space them evenly, leave plenty of room for air to circulate on top and bottom and in between the pans. And this is what they look like when they come out. They don't rise terribly high, but imagine, I mean, it would take considerable effort to lift that heavy batter. So it's kind of a thin loaf, and it comes very cleanly out of the pan. I just let them sit and cool on that rack for about 10 minutes before I turn them out of the pan. Here it is on the cutting board. I recommend using a serrated knife to cut it with. It's really easy to cut. Sometimes if you hit a pecan, you'll hit a little snag, but just press on through. You can leave the nuts out if you don't like them. That's how it looks cut. Here it is plated up. You can see the beautiful nuts. The camera didn't really pick up the green, but you can definitely see the little green zucchini bits in it. It is just a delicious, simple bread. I hope you try it and that you love it. It's so wonderful to have something warm and hearty and tasty in the afternoon when my family comes in and the house is filled with the aroma of cinnamon. You just can't beat that. I hope you'll give it a try. Let me know how you like it. Until next time, this is Katzcradul.